In this video, I want to show you what kind of guitars that I found in the last few days. I've been shopping for guitars for a few days on eBay and several other places. And I'll show you what I found. I found a bunch of beautiful ones that I decided not to get, most of them. And I went through several rounds, round 1 and round 2. I found a bunch of ones that were really good deals or really beautiful, but they were 25.5 inch, and that's not what I wanted right now. Because I had this, I attempted to get guitars that met these specifications. Although I knew that it would be difficult, if not impossible, to find all of them at once. In fact, the weight is hardly even ever listed. Then I found a bunch that were just really good deals on really good guitars. Then a bunch that were really beautiful guitars and a decent deal. Or maybe not, but really beautiful. And then a bunch that were of a decent weight, or at least they listed the weight and I wanted it or thought about it. I took all of those and whittled it down to this list here. And then I whittled that down to this list here. So I'll show you some of these. They're all interesting in their own ways. Before I get into going one by one, let me show you something that I did last week. If you go to Sweetwater and Electric Guitar, and then Solid Body Guitars, and then sort by lightest guitar. You can't always sort by lightest guitar, but if you get into the solid body category, you probably can. And you go down here not too far into the first few guitars, and you get this one, RGRT 621 DBP. Now, there's two different colors of this, and one of them's blue. It's a little bit like that. Let me see if it's on this first page. It's not that. So it's not on the first page, but look, pretty much the lightest real guitar here is, how light? 5 pounds 10 ounces, so light. Now, so last week I looked into these, and they got great reviews. They have DiMarzio's, and there's a blue one. So I bought one, and I bought a one on super sale because it was a B stock and it had like a line down here. I'll show you. Hang on. So I had this little line right there. It's pretty beautiful. I loved the look, and I knew it was going to be pretty lightweight, but I didn't know technically how lightweight this exact guitar would be. Well, I ordered it with a hard shell case, and it unfortunately didn't come with one. That wouldn't have been a big deal, but I mean, I would have needed a refund because I paid for it, but I ended up finding some problems on the guitar right away. There's this gash in the front, and there's some scratch marks that weren't in the pictures, and those aren't the big deals, but there's a gash on the back, and none of that was in the pictures when they sent it. I mean, when they advertised it. So, and it ended up being heavier than my current guitar, which means it was probably a pound, oh man, like 1.5 pounds heavier than that. Let's see. So the other one was 5 pounds 10 ounces, I think. This one had to have been over 7 pounds 4 ounces. So 1 pound and probably 10, 12, 15 ounces. That's quite a bit. I wasn't satisfied, but they ended up making it easy for me to send it back, so I'm glad it worked out as those things go. I don't know why it had those gashes, but that wasn't okay. Anyway, it actually made me appreciate the one I have right now more, and it's like this, but it's red, and it's 7 pounds and 4 ounces, which is okay, and it's a great guitar. Flaxwood Strat with Seymour Duncans. Acacia. This brand has an interesting history, but that's pretty beautiful. Actually, this is made in USA, but a lot of Ibanez guitars have a similar look and feel. Or finish look and feel, I mean. There's a Japanese Schecter. A couple of them. Several of those have the masked binding that I'm looking for. There's a Warrior. Almost always really beautiful. That one's amazing. Look at all that beautiful wood on the top. This one's cool, but a little bit too funky for my tastes. That's just lovely. Has a trem, and I don't want a trem, mostly because it carves out all this wood, and I just love the look of a solid back. For the most part, solid. That has the masked binding. Oh, that's a good picture. Actually, I'm going to save that. Oh yeah, they don't have a picture, but this is the Cronus. That's hot. Masked binding on that too. And then these are the 25.5-inch scale length. Japanese Prestige with a fixed bridge. US Masters. This brand is fascinating. Unfortunately, the shop closed a few years back. It's a really pretty natural teal color. USA Schecter. Pretty funky looking Gibson Nighthawk. I like that. That's one of my favorite colors, that blue burst like that. I'll show you another one in a minute. Made in Japan, Esp, Ernie Ball Music Man, Steve Morse. Parker Fly Deluxe Vintage. Those are apparently super lightweight. Another Acacia, really nice look and feel to that one. I've never heard of Mayonis before, but that's just beautiful. I love the stained front with a natural colored back. I also love that cutaway and the accessibility. This, I just can't believe that deal. It's $50 shipping, but who cares? That's an amazing deal on a set neck Korean Dean Evo. That's a great guitar right there. That's one of the best deals I found. These guitars are really nice. They're probably heavy though, so they're not what I'm looking for. Now I don't believe it has a mask. I think it might have a masked binding, but not a figured masked binding. And that's a really good deal. Like $350 shipped. For a good Korean import, like PRS-15 or PRS-SE or ESP, the right series, like 400 or 1000 series even, or even their 256 series. 300 to 400 is a really good price. So speaking of, this is the same deal. This one's local pickup only, but it's got these robo tuners. It's a really cool idea, and DiMarzio. There's a 256 with Duncan's for $350. That's a good deal. Now, this is just like the one I've got, but mine's in red, and I love blue. So if I weren't upgrading to something quite a bit better, then this would have been a good option at a reasonable price. That's a little bit high for what I would look for a really good deal, but a fair price. And same with this one. It's a hardtail standard, and I don't think it's got a flame top, but it's got a natural, like a transparent blue finish. I really like this. Around $450, same kind of deal. Here's a Gibson Les Paul called Tribute. That listing sold. But here, where is it? Oh, I guess I can't see it at all. Okay. I thought I could look at the old listing. Oh well. That's not it, is it? Wait a minute. No, that's not it, but still that's decent. Then a Reverend shade Balderos. This is a cool guitar made of Carina wood too. And it's got a dark blue burst finish, cool pickups, funky body style. Then the Volcano. And I love this raised centerpiece. I love that. How the neck through part is raised. And that's made of Carina as well. Gibson SG for $800. Standard Tribute. Now that Tribute's going for like $1,100 brand new, and I'll show you that in a sec. Something called the DeMont Goldfinch, which is cool. Poplar body. Poplar's generally pretty light, so this might have a light weight. And it's got really cool features and appointments. G&L ASAT. I love this. It's just so classic and classy. Wait, that does have string through, right? Yeah. This simple flat Les Paul, that's pretty cool. I like the color. It's probably relatively lightweight. So I thought about it. A blue Legacy hardtail. That's cool. Those are good guitars. This one's really cool. I liked this one a lot. I thought about it because the US Masters has so many cool features, and you'll get to see one of them right here. Okay, strings through. Where is it? Right here. That is really unusual, and apparently it keeps the neck really tight and really pulls it into the guitar and enhances sustain. I think I've played one of these, something like it, and it was cool. I remember it being heavier than I wanted. But that's probably an incredibly high quality guitar, and probably a workhorse too, with tons of great appointments and features. I've heard the necks are really comfortable. Let's see. This one's beautiful. It's got one of the best masked bindings of all. You can barely see it, but it's really thick. The top, it goes all the way to the end, the other side of the top, and most guitars don't have it that thick masked. I love that. I've heard these are pretty heavy too. And by heard, I mean I've looked at as much data as I can find on the internet at other samples, but also I've done whatever picking up of them I can at guitar shows and looked at people's reports on forums and things. Then there's a blue Gibson SG Standard. I love that look. I love that color. That's really the color of my first real guitar, the PV, and I'm a fan. And then instead of getting an SG, this US Masters would be really amazing instrument. And there's some beautiful deals. Like this one, most of these take my breath away. They're really beautiful. I love that so much. Now, this is not a good deal because that's how much it sells for new. But that's just a great look. And great quality. That one's a great, slightly different look and quality. Now, I loved this. If I weren't getting something upgraded, this would be a good choice because look at how thick the maple top is here, how obvious it shows, and even it's bigger than the binding. And personally, I love seeing that. I love knowing that there's a thick maple top on there and seeing it with my eyes every day. Let's see. I love the color too. Okay, Esp Eclipse, beautiful blue. Wow, that's an amazing quilt. Dang. So that's a Japanese Eclipse. I have no idea whether they use a thick quilted top or put a veneer on those. I don't know. I'm going to guess veneer. Here's a vintage guitar that almost fit my needs. That's a really good price, and it's got a blue. It doesn't have masked over here, but it is masked over here, and I loved this. However, it's got a trem, and I really wasn't looking. I was looking for one without a trem. Not a lot of the flame shows up in those pictures. So that would have been fine, except it's kind of old and it's got a trem. And I wasn't looking for just fine. This one's beautiful. Oil blue, McCarty. It doesn't have the masked bindings, it's just got really nice blue back and edges. But this is clearly a really nice guitar. I would be honored to own that. Decent price too. I'll show you this one later. PRS Studio in Smoky Blueburst. Now that's pretty high, but beautiful guitar with the binding that I like. Also, this has got a cool pickup configuration. And then all these, they have their weight listed. So although that one's a little bit heavy, this Dean Soltero is 9.2 pounds. I was considering it and it had its weight listed. I'm not going to show you this one until later, but check out some of these others. 7 pounds for this blue with a trem, but nice standard SE. Now this one, years ago when I first saw this, probably 2008, took my breath away. I love this so much, and I would love to have a guitar like this somewhat, although I'm not really looking for Korean quality these days. Nothing against Korea, just I'm not really looking for affordable quality like that. And in fact, I love Korean guitars. That's what I've got right now. A Hammer. let's see, a Koa Ec1000. Oh, this one's, I think this one's, yeah, this is really pretty. And it's got the flame binding like I like. So it's got a trem, but that would have been a beautiful guitar and a great price for an American PRS. This one's so lightweight and so cool. It's the Paul's guitar model, hardtail. It doesn't have flame binding, but it looks great, and I love their cutaway, and I love the color. Reasonably expensive, actually, but that's a good price for these, and that's a super lightweight one. Under 6 pounds is amazing. Lamech Apollo. It's an interesting guitar. This one is really nice. It's not really a good price, but you know, it's nice to have a lightweight. 6 pounds and 1 ounce. Then 6 pounds and 5 ounces Music Man Silhouette. That really doesn't get my heart racing, but it's a great guitar. This one I love. I've loved this for a long time, and it would be really cool to get that. And it's cool that it's lightweight. I'll show you that one later. I already showed you that one. So these are the ones that I went to my second step with. I actually went from here down to here. Oh, and I never did show you these 6-pound Gibson tributes. It looks like I moved them out, but they are, you know, 6 pounds and brand new 2019 Gibson tributes, which I've heard a lot of good things about. Maple necks. That would be a great guitar to have. Really classy. And a cherry satin one too. So you've seen most of these. So from here down to this $1,500 US Masters, you've seen them all, and they made it to through my first part of round 2. And then the rest of these, they went into really feeling it part of round 2, and then I eventually moved them out. So that would be this $800 Gibson, and I know we've looked at all these. This really lightweight Paul's guitar. This Dean V, because that just gets my blood pumping. I love that thing. This PRS with a trem. Otherwise, everything I wanted. This with a trem as well, with a really thick top. This coral blue Michael Kelly. And then finally, the last one that you haven't seen is this. It's a USA Paul Reed Smith for $500. That's amazing. Nobody's bid on it. And it dies tomorrow. It's so cool. And I've played these, and they're really nice and generally pretty lightweight. But there's no weight listed and no guarantees. But what a deal. Free shipping. $500. Oops. So I'd say some of the best deals are that, and then this Dean Evo. And I feel like there was a couple others that were really good deals, but I kind of forgot. Anyway, the ones I decided to narrow down to are this. Actually, I'll show you that second. this. It's only 5.4 pounds. Stunning natural Carina wood. Beautiful. So lightweight. Finally, this beauty. With all the features I wanted. Flame binding, cutaway, blue hardtail. I don't know the weight, so that's the only question. So I would have been proud to own any of these, proud to have any of these on my wall, and even some of the others. But for whatever reason, using a combination of my list of things that I wanted, requirements, so to speak, trying to meet this as best I could, and feeling and how much it got my heart racing and how much it got me excited. Well, that's what got me to the point of the really feeling it guitars. This took several days, like not 24 hours at a time, but actually more like a week shopping on and off. But it was fun, and I learned a lot about what I wanted and my decision-making processes, and I saw some amazing guitars and some amazing deals, and I found some great stuff, some great winners.